Stay tuned, starting soon. Things that grind my gear. You can let me know in the chat down below so we can get the discussion started. Alrighty, let's get ourselves started here. Hello, I'm Andrew Van Zark for Family Sports Journal, and I write about women's golf for the most part, but sometimes I like to deviate from just talking about the ladies in golf and talk about the sport in itself. So, there are a few things that grind my gear, mostly as a journalist that watches the game through the TV or streams or whatnot. That's sort of my perspective. I'm not a golfer myself. as I said so many times, I've only gone to a driving range here and there, and played some mini golf here and there. And I do play a lot of VR golf. I do play a lot of different sorts of VR golf. Um, as they call it, simulated golf, but more in the video game side than the actual simulator. So the thing is, there's a few things that grinds my gears in many shapes and forms. And one of the things I wanted to mention, which I find it funny from the commentators, if you check out the description here, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's when every commentator on every hole for every golfer, they say, "Fantastic ball striker." And I'm like, we get it. That's why they are in the LPGA, JPGA, on the PGA, on the LET, on any tour. That's why they are on any tour for a reason. You don't have to tell me that this is a fantastic ball striker. Better tell me a description or your opinion on the short game they're doing. That's a better thing to do than just tell me, "Oh, here comes so and so with a fantastic golf swing," and I'm like, here we go again, repeating the same thing over and over. Because that's what happens. That's what happens when you are in this sort of situation. That's one of the things that grinds my gears when I hear commentators. Another thing that grinds my gears in a way, even though I understand why they do it, this is a game for the sophisticated people most of the time. But one thing that grinds my gears is that TGL is doing it correctly. TGL is getting that hype. So I talk a lot with my friend Gabriella, and Gabriella, she's a golf instructor and a golf player, and she's getting her PGA associates. She's on her way for that. She's on her way for that. So the thing is that she tells me, why can't we have more commentators in the golf tours where they're more hypey than just being, and then there she goes and she swings the club and hits it and goes 300 yards up to the fairway, a little bit to the left, and then we're gonna have to see ourselves if she can make it up there. And I'm like, I see your point. If we actually get more hypey kind of commentators like how we see in the TGL, that game that McIlroy and Tiger Woods invented, that goes back and forth with simulated and real putting. You can feel the hype. One of the players said once, "This is the closest we'll feel to being hyped like a basketball player." And I'm like, yes. Yes. And that should be a thing. And I'm not saying that it should be a thing all the time, because sure, you can argue that there's the Live Golf, LIV Golf, that has all that hype with the music and all that, and I understand that. But then there's this other group of people that are like, "Oh, we don't need that kind of hype on golf. Golf is a serene sport. It's a pristine sport for the goody, top-notch people." And I'm like, what? There's a lot of people that play golf that are not in that high-class society snobbish stuff, There's a lot of people. And the thing is that there's that sort of group of people that are so mad that the Live Golf has that hype, So we should bring that hype more often than not to the entire golf industry. Why? Because I've heard so many people when I tell them, "Oh, I'm a golf journalist. I like to report on golf events, do golf memes on the internet, and just discuss the whole sport of golf in general, because I like watching it a lot. I like watching the pros do what they got to do." And they tell me, "Really? You like watching golf? Isn't that like the longest, boringest game ever? It's so slow." And I'm like, no, it's not. When I was a kid, I never understood the hype of golf, when I was a kid, But for some reason, playing it on the PlayStation or something like that was extremely fun. And every time, and mind you, I noticed this recently, every time that I was in a bar, and for some reason, or a place like a Longhorn or something like that, and they would have a golf game on the screen, Because sometimes they have like multiple TVs, and then I would see like one single TV broadcasting a little bit of some golf. I'd be like, hmm. And I would stare for a little bit, then try to watch something else and stare a little again and be like, I don't see the hype of that, but at the same time, it keeps catching my attention. Keeps on catching my attention. So that's the thing, that's the thing that many don't understand. That golf is not about being all hyped for the most part. Golf is about understanding the swing, the art behind the swing. It's like watching those musicians that play songs that you don't dance to. It's all about experiencing the art and the atmosphere that they're portraying. And that's what matters the most. And every time we do that, every time we understand the whole hype behind golf, which is about understanding the art of the swing. That's what I like to see it. The art of the swing, whether you are putting, short gaming, or you are on the tee hitting it for the freeway. That's the whole dealio behind the golf. And many people say, "Oh, it's boring." And then Tiger Woods has recently said that they are considering to shorten the tour. And I'm like, don't do that. We need golf the whole year, whether it's on a regular season, on a special event, on the finals, on the qualifiers. We need golf for the whole year, the whole 365 days of the year. Please, please, by all means, don't lower, because come on. As a golf journalist, I can tell you with my experience, you don't need to watch every single round, every single game to actually be on par with what's happening on the season. All you can do, simple. I'll help you out here. I'll help you out. This is one method that I've done, so I don't have to bombard me with such long rounds. Even though I do it 90% of the time, it's this 10% of the time when I don't have the chance to watch a game. This is what I do. Just check out the leaderboard and look at the highlights. If you look at the PGA app and the LPGA app, they have this thing where they put like some stories per player, where you click on it and you can see on a little map how the ball flew from the tee to the fairway and then to the green and whatnot, and how was everything performing. And then you can have another view where you actually see the actual player doing those hits, those swings, and that's a way for you to get into the golf game without having to bombard yourself with long ass rounds, because let me tell you, they can take the whole day. Those rounds can take the whole day. I've caught myself watching either on stream or on the TV, the whole day. Literally, I've sat down there, and the sun was still up, and then all of a sudden when I'm done, I don't see no sun and the moon's out, and I'm like, holy damn! Have I been sitting here for quite a while? And when I check the timing on either the schedule of the TV or the stream, I see, whoa, I've been sitting here for 5 hours. Huh. No wonder I'm hungry. I lost track of time. I sure did. And that's what you got to do. Understand the art of the swing, and lowering, like I was saying, lowering the tour. I don't know. It just feels weird, because what I like to see, for the most part, not every player plays on every single event, right? So I like to see, how the leaderboard of progresses throughout the year, and then I like to see it being shortened down and see who are the best ones, because not every player, like I said, plays on every event, and as things go on, you can see that most players get eliminated, or they don't have a chance to play in this event or whatnot, and you start to see the leaderboard shorten, and you be like, these are the ones that are actually surpassing the test of time. And that's what we need to see. More people surpassing the test of time. We don't need anything else. Trust me, we don't need anything else. We don't need anything else. Anything else. Now, for those of you tuning in and joining in, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And at the same time, make sure to get yourself started here. So let me get ourselves. Let me start a poll here. So the next person that comes in, should the PGA and LPGA and other tours be shorter? That's the question. Absolutely. No, not at all. All right, I opened the ball there for those of you that are tuning in. You can let me know. Should the tour be shorter? Should the tour be shorter? Absolutely or no, not at all. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know on the poll right there. It's gonna be right there, and I hope that everybody has a chance to answer the poll. Um, so should it be shortened down? That's the whole question that we're trying to get ourselves into, you know, because many people are saying that it should be shorter. I digress. I digress in many shapes and forms, you know. So, another thing that has been going around, which is grinding a lot of people's gears, and it creates a lot of discussion on the internet, specifically on I've seen that a lot on Twitter, or what we call now X. Let me get this running here. Let me so I can get people's response. A lot of people, a lot of people, um, are getting themselves into this thing where they think that Aimpoint should be banned. You know, and I'm like, I don't know. Lots of people are discussing this. Aimpoint golf. Here we are. Should it be banned? You know, let me get nuclear's thread here, because that was actually a really good one, and I actually think that there's a lot of good things to be noted out. So let's go here, and come on, trying to find. Uh, all right, here we go. There's a lot of people with Aimpoint that he's trying to, you know, get himself in some sort of pickle, you know. Uh, the thing is with Aimpoint is that he likes to draw lines and whatnot in the green to make a better you know, putt, and that shouldn't be the case, you know. There's a lot of people that are uh like, for example, this person here says, and it's measured. Does it increase the makeability of putts? How much more effective is it that when it isn't used? Is it affected? It stays. If not, take that dumb thing out. You know, and a lot of people were saying, oh, back in the day when, you know, yardage books were being introduced, a lot of golfers were really mad about it, and at the same time, other golfers were like, okay, I like this. I think this should be a thing that should be, you know, uh, discussed, and used and be a great thing for golfers. And then after a while, it became the norm, you know. An aim point is now a thing, you know. So for those of you that don't know what aim point is, let's get ourselves a bit of info here. So, what is aim point? Aim point is a scientifically based screen reading technique used by golfers to improve putting accuracy by systematically assessing the slope, speed, and break of a putt instead of relying purely on instinct or visual cues. Aim point teaches players to use their feet to feel the slope and their fingers to estimate how much the putt will break, leading to a more consistent and reliable approach to reading greens. You know, how aim point works. Golfers stand behind and their ball and use their feet to sense the slope percentage of the greens. They can then use their fingers to visually line up an aim point with numbers of fingers and indicate the amount of break based on the slope and green speed. The technique is designed to reduce guesswork and increase confidence, helping golfers make more putts by trusting a repeatable method. So the benefits of aim point increases putting accuracy and consistency, helps golfers of all levels read greens more effectively. Used by many professional golfers, including major champions, to lower scores and reduce three putts. In a way, I think that aim point is a thing that shouldn't be used in like professional sense. It's like when you're playing a VR game of golf. When you're in the tours, you can use all of the features to help you play better. But when you're playing head to head or by yourself or something like that, then boom, you can do all the features that make you hit those screens better. And the thing is that I'm not too much in favor of aim point, but I don't know. I think aim pointing is a little bit out there, a little bit skeptical if you ask me, because if it makes it easier for professionals, and professionals should know how to do things by feel and vibe only, then what are you doing? It's like when you play an instrument. You're not gonna be all the time checking the notes, be like, wait, is that an A or a B or an M? What is it? What is it? Tell me, tell me. That's the thing. That's the whole dealio. And that's something that I think that should not be the case at all times. Many people are wanting to get that thing out there, but I digress, and I think that aim point shouldn't be a thing, because then it makes things super damn quick and easy for many professionals out there. And I think that it shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case. Aim pointing is a big no-no. A big no-no for me. And for many. That's a big no-no. Anyways, for those of you tuning in, make sure to let me know. What do you think? What do you think? For those of you tuning in, should a professional golfer be able to, make a line on the grass and do this sort of aiming with the fingers and with the foot and understanding how the slope of the green is going in order to make a better putt? Or should the golfer just go like any other golfer and just look, aim, and hit the ball and let it go and sink it and dink it? What do you think? What do you think? For those of you tuning in on the chat down below, let me know. Should aim pointing be banned on big games? I understand that if you're learning the game. I understand that if you are, a recreational player. But in a major tour, come on. No. That's a big no-no for me. That's a big no-no. a big no-no. And again, for those of you that don't know what aim pointing is, it's when a golfer stands behind the ball and uses their feet to sense the slope percentage of the green. Then they use their fingers to visually line up the aim point with the number of fingers, indicating the amount of break based on the slope and green speed. The technique is designed to reduce guesswork and increase confidence, helping golfers make more putts by trusting a repeatable method. This is the same equivalent thing as you going to the casino, playing blackjack, and counting the cards. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing, and it grinds my gears. Once I found out that major players were doing this a while back, that they were doing this, I was like, hold up. Let me put my beer down, and I'm not just going to say right there, what are you doing? That is the most cheatful thing. And you know what? You know what's funny? That the officials don't care. No one cares. Only the fans are the ones that are complaining. The recreational players are the ones that are complaining. If you're going to get yourself in my way of my line and you're going to make your line better, that is bad. Because when you step on the green, you create a path. When you're using your putt to make that path and you're aim pointing and all that, the thing is, and hear me out, you're ruining the other players' line. And what happens when they go hit the ball? Most of the time, if not all the time, your opponent is going to be on a different angle on the green. So the thing is, by you doing some aim point, you're ruining the other players' line. And what's going to happen is that when they hit the ball, it's going to just follow the weird line that it's doing. And since you were going on a different angle and the other player was going on the other angle, your whole shot is ruined. It's gone. It's done. It's gone so. And that shouldn't be the thing. I demand, and whoever's listening to me, whether on this live or on a recorded version, I don't care when are you listening to my radio show, I do wholeheartedly say ban aim pointing from majors, not from recreational playing, not from small events, from majors, from PGA, from LPGA, JLPGA, be exact, LET. Let's remove that. I've seen that so many times, and aim pointing is by far the most disgusting thing ever. Ugh, it grinds my gears. Seriously, it does. It really grinds my gears when you're stepping on the green, creating a line for yourself, making your putt easier, and sure, it is accurate. It is worthy of doing if you want to just put it in, It is a thing. It works. It's been proven that works. That's why they do it. That's why some golfers, they get too scared and they do it. And you know when they do it? You know what's the sad part? You know when they use the aim point? When they are losing and they want to just lower their scoreboard. They just want to. Because at that point in time, they are either on a slump or they are losing. Simple. Period. And they want to do that just because I need to secure a better score so that I can stay on the mix right there on the leaderboard and I don't get kicked out for the next event. If you didn't play well, you didn't play well. Not every day you're going to sink it. And not every day you're going to do like Bryson, hit it from the fairway near the fringe and then not touch the green and go straight in and dunk it on the hole. That's not going to be always a thing. That's a one in a million times of a thing. And many of you want to just sit there and mind your own business. Oh, is this guy aim pointing? Whatever. I don't see anything. I'm blind. Really? If you don't know much about golf, At least go to social media and say, banning pointing. It shouldn't be a thing. That's the same thing as if I was on a basketball court and I had like this thing where I could line up the ball in a way that once I line it up with the basket, it does like this little beep, and then I throw it in there, and it would be always on point. Like like if the little square on the behind the basket had like a little dot on like professional baskets, and like a little dot. If you always line up the ball to that dot, you're always gonna put it in the free throws. Come on, no. I am against cheating. I'm against being unfair, and I'm against all that. And I know that professionals are like, whatever. If you did that, then whatever. I'm like, no. Don't you understand they're ruining the game? Don't you understand they're ruining your putt? Don't you understand? Come on, man. Come on. Think about it. You want to sink it also. Jeez. It's a thing. It's a thing that we won't have it settled for a while, you know. And the problem is that one of the persons that actually reposted the question, should aim point be banned from majors or in general, clearly replied to one of the commentators saying golfers back in the day were so mad that when they introduced yardage books, and now it's a norm. Like him saying like whatever, who cares? That's gonna be a norm at some point. Oh no. I am against that, and I don't accept that whatsoever, at all. And I'm being serious. I'm being very serious about this. Very, very, very serious. You know? Just saying. By the way, if you like, I don't know if it happens to everybody, but I just noticed that my like for this, it's all golf themed, and I haven't done anything. I like it. I like that it's golf themed. But yeah. Moving on. There's more things that grind my gear, you know. Well, another thing that grinds my gear is how little of appreciation women get for broadcasting. I know that next year we're gonna have more broadcasting and better exposure for the females, but we have such little exposure for the females that it's sad, very sad. You know, very sad. So, you know what's also annoying? When you hear someone on the crowd say, "Get in the hole!" I'm like, shut up. Can't you let the golfer concentrate? Can't you let the golfer concentrate? Jeez. We gotta let the golfer concentrate. I appreciate you liking. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate everybody. You know? Some people might say, why do we care about watching the ones that are on the leader? You know, that are not leading, and they show us other people. We don't want to see if they're in the mix. We want to see the ones that are leading. Some people are saying that. And in my case, I like when there is all the options to see every single player. And I think this is just the way I see it. Every player should be reported every single round. There's 4 rounds of golf, and every round it should be reported with a leaderboard online, right? And but I think that we should divide the group of players that are being broadcasted through each round, so that way everybody gets a little bit of exposure, you know. Because maybe you don't like the ones in the top, you know, because being on the top doesn't necessarily mean that you're amazing. It just means that you're consistent and you have the discipline to actually stay in the top of the leaderboard. That's it. Period. Simple. There's no other way to see it. You know, there's a lot of players we can mention. A lot of players that we can mention that are just not skillful, if I might say so myself. Because you want to know, how do you go into a how do you get into a tour? It's simple. It's not really that hard. As long as you know how to play golf, you'll have a chance. So let me tell you, how does it work? It's not like any other sport where you just do a tryout and you get signed and you keep walking. It's not like that. No, it's way easier. All you gotta do is pass an exam and play one round of one, like, a qualifying event of 4 rounds, right? And from there, if you stay in the leaderboard in the section where you qualified, you qualified. You don't have to impress anybody. All you gotta do is just do the numbers. As long as you do the numbers, you're in. And then you have to pay a fee. Simple. Period. Pay the fee. Stay in the numbers on the leaderboard to do the things that you gotta do. And from there, nothing else. Period. Simple. That's all you gotta do. And it's way much more simple than going into a team like NFL, basketball, baseball, where you actually have to impress the coaches from the get-go. Here, you don't have to impress anybody. All you got to do is do the numbers. Pass the test, pay the fee, and do the numbers. And that's why I think that no matter how good or how bad you are, you should have your right amount of exposure, whether on a news article, whether on a highlight, whether on a press conference, whether on social media, maybe a few holes on a broadcast. You name it, anything. Maybe the radio commentators are going to say something about you at some point. You know, we should mention the whole entire leaderboard at that point in time. If we have, let's say, Nelly Corda, we have Gino Thickentool, we have Brooke Henderson, we have Lim King, we have, whatchamacallit, I forgot her name. Anna Huang. We have Anna Huang. That's the name I was looking for. Anna Huang. And we don't show them for a little bit. You're not gonna know if this player is good. Don't just show the player when they are like the top best, like how they do with Tiger Woods. That when Tiger Woods is on the way, just because he's famous, they have to show him everywhere. You know, I remember there's this one event that is sponsored and invented by Tiger Woods. I forgot the name of it. And in that event, he gets more exposure. He doesn't play in the event most of the time. Sometimes he does, but most of the time he doesn't. Last time he didn't. And he gets extreme exposure just because he's famous. And the golfers, they're only shown here and there. And I'm like, this is an event for the golfers, by the golfers. Not just because Tiger Woods invented this doesn't mean you have to just showcase Tiger Woods all the time. Tiger Woods ain't all that they say, you know, at least in the past few years. Sure, you can tell me that he had a back surgery and that makes him a little bit of effy, if you ask me. But it's still, on the last few years, it still shows him more exposure than the skill. And I get it. At some point, a golfer, when they reach a certain point in their career, and it happens with even musicians and actors, actresses, journalist, radio host, anything, they get too comfortable after a while. Once they are in that point where they feel like they don't have anything else to do. And I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. And you see other players like McIlroy, like Novak, that no matter how much Ludwig, you see Ludwig, Novak, McIlroy, you see all those players, and even though they are at that point where they are just amazing players, they are still putting in the discipline. They're still putting in the game, the reps. As I like to call them, the reps. They start to put the reps. And if you put the reps in, you'll be doing what you got to do. And that's what we like to see. You putting in the reps. That's why Ludwig has been called into the TGL, not just the PGA, and that is a great thing, and we need good golfers, we need good golfers. And I think that we should change that mentality to just show the golfers that are good, and they're just there for the exposure, You know, even though I talk about females and males, there is a lot of good things to be said here. So I gotta talk about both sides. It's worthy to mention. So some professional golfers are known more for their exposure or media presence than their skill or tournament success. This is true for both men and women's golf. With certain players gaining fame through personalities, social media, or of course activities rather than consistent high-level performances. There's a lot of golfers that are top-notch in terms of exposure, just because they are really famous on the golf course, and from there they use that fame to become a YouTuber, and from there they became a golfer, a golf tuber, as we call them, golf tuber. A golfer that is really famous on YouTube and records themselves either giving tips or playing rounds of golf with random players or with their subscribers, and then just showing nice recorded swings and whatnot, and they become really famous on the internet, specifically through YouTube. And I've seen many of those, and that really grinds my gears, because then all you're doing is using your fame to make more money through the internet, which I don't have any problem with that. But the problem is that you're using that fame more than you practicing the actual game, and then you slack. I'm just gonna put it out there. You end up slacking. We need high, consistent performance from these golfers, So in the male side, we have Fred Couples, often cited as style over substance. Couples is admired for his smooth swing and cool demeanor. But his win percentage and major championships don't match the level of praise he receives. I'm just putting it out there. John Daly, another one. Here we go. John Daly. While Daly had undeniable talent and won 2 majors, I tell you, 2 majors, which that is an extremely difficult thing to do. His career was marked by missed opportunities and personal issues, leading to more media attention than sustained top-level performance. And we're looking for top level here. We don't want no slackers. I ain't gonna deal with you if you're a slacker. Nope. So, then we have Wyndham Clark and Sepp Straka. Both have steady PGA Tour careers but limited major wins and lower popularity ratings among younger fans, suggesting more exposure than elite skill. Elite skill. There you have it. Those are 3 major male golfers that do that. In my case, I've been saying it on social media a lot. Tiger Woods is the one that's been slacking, and you can digress with me saying it, but he had a back surgery. I don't care. I don't care. If you had a back surgery and you're gonna slack, might as well retire from golf. I know you want to do that thing of getting that other trophy, but which you haven't had a chance to do so. But might as well retire from golf. Might as well go coaching, which is a smarter move. Go coach. Go coach. That's a better thing to do for you in your state. And all you gotta do is just produce events, golf events, and you're golden. And your legacy as a top golfer stays intact. Simple. Period. You gotta do that. That's what you gotta do. Now, on the female side, despite me enjoying watching these two golfers, I have to mention them. Lydia Ko, a former child prodigy with strong talent. Ko has dominated LPGA, but her popularity among millennials is relatively low, indicating her exposure doesn't always match her skill level. Minjee Lee, despite solid performances, Lee has not won major championships and is less well known among younger audiences, placing her more in the exposure category than the elite skill category. Just saying. Just saying. But I do like Lydia Ko and Minjee Lee. Minjee Lee is one of my favorite golfers out there. Lydia Ko's on the list there, but Minjee Lee is amazing. But I as much as I love Brooke Henderson and Nelly Korda, I do have to give it to Gino Thickentel, the 20-year-old, 20-something, I'm not really sure right now, professional golfer, that she has done phenomenal. Back-to-back wins 2 years in a row. Last year she was amazing, and this year she was amazing on the American tour. You know, what else do you want? What else do you want? On the European side, we had Nadal. Nadal was a great golfer. She did amazing. And those are players that are more skill than exposure. That's why I didn't mention Gino. Gino is right there. She has all the skill, all the stuff to be showcased as a top performer. Period. I'm throwing it out there. You can fight me all you want. You can yell at me all you want. You can comment all you want. But that's how it is. That's how it is. So a general observation here, golfers with high media exposure but inconsistent results often get more attention for their personalities or controversies than for their actual performance, which is sad. This trend is more common in the modern era, where social media and branding play a large role in a player's ability. You know, there's a lot of players that they care more about the sponsors because, oh, this guy generates the views just because he's really famous on the interwebs for whatever reason, and we need to sponsor that guy. But what about this other player that's doing great? What about this golfer? This golfer is doing the reps. Doing the reps. Look at that swing. Look at that swing. Look at that putting. Look at that short game. Oh, but no. He gets the views. He gets the stuff. Oh, let's sponsor and endorse this one. This one. You don't need more sponsors or endorsement. He has enough exposure. Enough. Jeez. These are the stuff that we got to keep in mind in order to know when a professional golfer is hand in hand doing the skill. I'm not opposed for the exposure. If I was a professional golfer myself and I had a lot of exposure, I would totally open a YouTube channel and record myself swinging the club and doing all that stuff, you know, and giving golf tips. Sure, I've been doing that. But I'd still try to put the reps. I'd still try. Period. You gotta put the reps. But it's not always the case, you know, it's not always the case. There's a lot of people that simply just don't do the stuff. You know, and what's sad about Tiger Woods, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, he was in a lot of scandals with you know, cheating to his wife and all that, he was really big on the news. And even people that didn't give a flying flub about golf, they knew who Tiger Woods was. You know? Oh, you can tell me, oh, maybe they saw it on the video game cartridges or what? No, 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 no. They heard about Tiger Woods on the news when he was on that sort of situation when he was caught cheating to his wife, cheating to his wife, you know, and after that he became famous. Even comedy cartoons like South Park were making fun of Tiger Woods, you know, and that sort of thing happens, and that's where I stand my point, where some players are more exposure than skill. Period. Simple. And I actually did like a little post on social media, and my friend Gabriela, the greatest golf coach that I know, actually told me an interesting player that has more exposure than skill. So let's get her answer right here on the DMs. Right here on the DMs. She said in a really, 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 really really blunt way, she said, even though Bryson has won the US Open, he's still all hype and muscle. His short game still needs work, but much rather do long drives contest. You know, he can do any long drive contest at any point in time. So, and I agree with what she had to say, even though I had to say Lydia Ko and Minji Lee. For the ladies, it's very rare to see any of them that's just there for the show and not much skill, since many recognize the amount of work and dedication it takes to be on tour. Exactly. It takes a lot of dedication, you know. Not to get in the tour, to stay in the tour, you know, because, you know, you got to do the numbers, you know. It's easy to do the numbers to get in, but it's hard to do the numbers to stay. Eventually, you got to do the qualifiers, and eventually you have to, you know, keep those numbers consistent in order to get yourself the card and be like, okay, I can actually play it next year. It's all nice and dandy. So, anyways, those are the things I have to say. Those are the few things that grind my gear when it comes to golf. And hope you had a great time listening. Hope you had a good time being here. And I enjoy every single one of you. You're all awesome. You're all amazing. And I bid farewell to you all. Au revoir. Make sure to follow me on Substack, X. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And get yourself connected with all my social media in general, you know, because I have a journal, as you can see, and I like writing about golf and stuff, you know, reporting the stuff that the leagues themselves, the tours themselves post, and giving my slight opinion on it, and at the same time, I like just writing about individual golfers and giving my perspective behind them. So anyways, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for listening, and au revoir.